But first, it's my brain dump. There's a test for you. Try reading this headline out loud without feeling like you've landed on another planet. Stella Creasy, J.K. Rowling is wrong. Women can have a penis. Then there's this one from Stella Creasy's Labour MP colleague, Annalise Dodds. Stella Creasy is wrong. A woman can't have a penis. And finally, this one. Labour MPs at war over whether a woman can be born with a penis. Well, my apologies for repeatedly using the P word, but it's rather significant here when you're talking about women, because I wasn't aware that they had one. We've got to this ridiculously absurd stage in the gender debate, a civil war erupting between two British female MPs from the same Labour Party over something that we already all know the answer to. But who can blame them for their confusion when their own leader, Sir Keir Starmer, can't even answer the question at all?
A woman can have a penis.
Nick, I'm not... I don't think we can conduct this debate with, you know...
Sorry, have I offended you in some way?
No, it's just...
He's not asking you for Pythagoras' theorem. He's just saying, what's a woman? Can a woman have a penis? This is all so insane. A woman is an adult female who does not have a penis. I can't even believe I have to say that on air. This is not something that should be debated. It's a biological fact. You can't refute basic scientific sexual physiology. I mean, you can scream and you can bully and try to cancel people, but ultimately, facts are facts. Science is science. Now, gender is a different matter. In a free society, you can identify, frankly, as whatever you please. That doesn't mean the rest of us have to buy into it, or that society has to change all the rules to suit your latest identity, whim, and fancy. Like the debate over what a woman is, gender self-identity is also going completely bonkers. British police forces are now allowing suspects to choose from 67 genders. I mean, imagine being the guy, person, who has to make the bar charts for crime statistics. Meanwhile, prison officers are told to use whatever personal pronouns inmates decide they want to be called. And not to be out-woked, the British Civil Service is ordering workers to recognise 100 genders, while also paying them to attend gender-neutral book clubs and celebrate Non-Binary Awareness Week. By the way, of those 100 genders, they include the following: omnigender, pangender, two-spirit, demigender, grey gender, gender void, and my favourite, gender outlaw. For the love of God, the only void is between the ears of the people who come up with this nonsense. And the only thing that needs to be outlawed is this time-wasting, absurdist nonsense at the heart of our government. I support, respect and protect trans rights, always have done. But women MPs insisting that women have penises and authorities officially recognising gender outlaws as a gender does nothing but damage those rights by making a cruel mockery of trans people who actually go through the long, difficult process of transitioning. And it's got to stop. Well, almost a week on from the horrific Texas school massacre, and there's no sign of any consensus in the embittered debate over gun rights. But as more grim details emerge, there's a rare agreement developing about one thing. The gutless Uvalde police failed these children. We now know that 19 armed police officers were inside Robb Elementary School during the 78 minutes that the shooter, Salvador Ramos, unleashed his hellish murderous rampage. That's one officer for each of the children who were killed. 8 desperate calls, 8, were made to 911 by kids inside the classroom on their cell phones before the police finally went in.
It's better that I read it than you listen to it. Identified herself and whispered she's in room 112. At 12:10, she called back in room 12, advised her multiple dead. At approximately 12:43 and 12:47, she asked 911 to please send the police now. At 12:46, she said that she could hear the police next door. At 12:50, shots are fired. They can be heard over the 911 call. And at 12:51, it's very loud and sounds like the officers are moving children out of the room.
Isn't this unbelievable? Kids in the classroom who'd seen some of their fellow students being murdered were calling 911 to tell the police, who were standing outside with guns, what was going on. And for minute after minute after minute, those police did nothing until it was all too late. We've been told that they were waiting for keys for tactical equipment, for orders from their boss. We're also told in their apparent defence that apparently they could have been shot at and killed. Well, yes, they could, but that's actually their duty. It's literally what they signed up for, to protect the public. After the Columbine High School massacre in 1999, where 13 people were shot dead as police waited outside for an hour, cops were ordered after that to prioritise the safety of people under threat, not themselves. Police in Uvalde were briefed on this as recently as March. They were specifically told, officers' first priority is to move in and confront the attacker. But they didn't. Not one of those armed police chose to confront the shooter before it was too late. As a result of their shocking collective cowardice, 19 children and 2 teachers are now dead. Shame on them. We'll bring out the bunting. Ready the Victoria sponge. Cover everything in the Union flag. It's almost Platinum Jubilee street party season. But no, not if the fun police have their way. 15 million Brits are preparing to celebrate 70 years of the Queen's reign this weekend with a mammoth 4-day traditional best of British street party. But Killjoy councils are reportedly warning that 6 weeks' notice is required for a road closure. So the multitude of neighbourhoods who missed or didn't even know about the deadline will be holding street parties which are now going to be deemed illegal. They're quite literally replacing our bunting with red tape. When did the land of hope and glory become a land of nope and boring? Come on. We've had dismal summers of life under COVID lockdowns, unable to hug our loved ones, and where finger food was frankly unthinkable. This is the perfect time for a massive party, a rare moment of national unity in respect of our greatest and longest-serving monarch. Once again, I turn to my late great friend, cricket legend Shane Warne, for the best response to party-pooping claptrap.
And in this politically correct day and age, we've just got to be a little bit careful, but sometimes just say, get stuff to the fun police.
Exactly. My message to the British people is ignore these pen-pushing Jobsworth. Get out there and celebrate our Queen like you've never done before. I regret to say I have a trigger warning. Well, the following clip contains scenes of unbridled masculinity. I know what...
Those are your pilots. Anything happens to them. You'll never forgive yourself.
No turning back now.
Come on! Jeez!
Having any fun yet?
I know, wokies, I know. All that raging testosterone, it's all so toxic, isn't it? Problematic, primitive, arrestable even. Well, it's also turned out to be staggeringly popular. Yes, the long-awaited sequel to Top Gun has racked up box office sales of more than $248 million in its opening weekend, smashing post-pandemic records and easily becoming the biggest hit of Tom Cruise's already stellar Hollywood career. How can this have happened? After all, it's a jet-fueled, balls-out, supersonic rampage in which cocksure guys drink, fight, disobey orders, ride motorbikes without helmets, bond over fixing engines, bottle up their feelings, bail out their mates, play macho topless beach volleyball, get the hot girls, and kill all the bad guys. It even bravely sticks 2 fingers up at China by refusing to remove the Taiwan flag from Maverick's jacket. This is a movie for people like me who regularly moan they don't make movies like that anymore when I watch the great man-celebrating films of the 70s and the 80s, and we're loving it. I took 2 of my sons to see Top Gun Maverick on Friday. It was the best escapist fun I've had at the movies since 1986, when I was 21 and I went to see the first Top Gun movie at the cinema 10 times in 3 weeks. The main reason I loved it, because I came out feeling better than I went in. When was the last time that happened at a cinema? And I also felt proud to be a man and of masculinity, rather than ashamed of it, as the feminazis constantly want us to feel. Don't get me wrong, some men are awful, but spoiler alert, so are some women. And some forms of masculinity are toxic, undeniably. But Maverick reminds us, as the box office sales prove, that sometimes good old-fashioned, non-toxic, chest-beating masculinity is just what everybody wants and needs.